Hey guys, welcome again to the first LEGO League Share and Learn Virtual Open International. My name is Lee and greetings from Billund, Denmark. I'm a senior model designer for a pretty well-known Danish toy company. Living and working here in Billund, Denmark, but I grew up in New York City. And went to school at the University at Buffalo, where I got a Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering and Aerospace Engineering. I like to consider myself an adventurer, an artist, and maker of cool things and builder of funny stuff. I work with a really awesome group of people here in Denmark and in the US. Sometimes we get to go see cool stuff. And it's so great to be able to talk to you guys about what I do and what we do. So I want to talk about what I do for a living for a little bit. The job is a model designer, so I get to play with bricks and toys in order to create educational products for you guys. And every once in a while I get to have a box out there, so you may recognize my work from the LEGO Mindstorms Education EV3 core set, the Black Box 45544, my first real job, to products like Animal Allies and Hydrodynamics, City Shaper, and latest I've had the chance to work on Swipe Prime, and the main model I got to work on was the expansion set and that cool advanced driving base, the ADB. I'm responsible for the shape, the pieces, the shape of the models, how they work. I don't make them, but I'm also responsible for the building instructions, making sure everything looks great in the photos and the pictures, and anything related to how the model actually is sent through our production system. We make lots and lots and lots of different prototypes. How many different versions of sewer caps did we make? How many different versions of landers? And really picking out each part and piece to make sure they really have a meaning for you guys whenever they're there. So I really try to put some care into putting some parts in there you might not have seen before, or something that's really meaningful for the things you're making. But my job isn't so much different from yours, right? We get to talk to experts like the group here from City Shaper and get their input, and it's really awesome to hear about what they do and how we can create something learning for you guys. We try to find problems with solutions that you guys can understand, something relevant to the theme, something to teach you guys about what we're trying to do with architecture, for example. Doesn't that sound familiar? I need to test and show judges. We need to figure out if the models are going to last forever in your closet. You need to make sure they survive the tournaments, survive all the function that you guys are going to put on them. They need to survive the robots running into them. They need to survive transit. They need to survive being built and unbuilt. And it's a lot of fun to do that and making sure they work. And we need to share it finally with others. We need to share it with you guys. We need to create the building instructions. We need to create marketing materials and all that stuff. We need to be part of all that process and eventually share it to you. And then even go out there and make sure everyone knows what it's supposed to be. But I want to tell you some really awesome stories about really working up to the design process and even just having some resilience in what we do, because it takes time to put stuff together. One of my favorite design stories is about this wheel, and actually looking back at everything that I've been doing in the last years, it's actually taken 5 years to develop this wheel, from the initial concept sketches that I made to practically reinventing the wheel. And it was really fun for me to do all the testing and ask a lot of questions about how teams use wheels and how robotics is actually using this particular element. So it's not just a wheel, it's so many other things. And going through the whole process of creating it, making 3D prints, making tests with those 3D prints, seeing if it'll go into a project, and eventually getting it made as a real element and all the things that go with that. I wasn't in every process, but it really was a 5-year thing, and it's been such a great adventure to see it out on a model and seeing people use it. So it's a 5-year thing. It's going to take time. You're going to get some failures. You're going to get some really cool thoughts about, did you do the right kind of research? But at the end, when it comes out, it's really sweet. I just want to remember you guys to a really fun element. You guys might have seen this thing before. I'll just show you a short video of one of my tests. Test 1, not dual locked. Running it for the first time, or a few times to make sure it works. And you guys can't even imagine how many different versions of this thing, how many times people told me to start over. I probably should have, but we really didn't have a lot of time. But I can probably tell you, for such a complex model, I didn't think I would be making 30 versions of it, testing every time, really putting it in a robot to test. And so many times it failed, actually, and it needs to run for a certain number of times, and that number is quite high, and we weren't even getting to 1/10 of that. And then I finally got it. We finally got it. We were finally getting it to run about a few hundred to 1,000 times, which is probably more than you would actually see at a tournament, because it was such an advanced mission. But something really drove me to building this wastewater treatment model, because it was personal, and I really understood what was happening. I knew what it was, because one of my first jobs, actually, and for some reason I didn't want to stay there because it wasn't me, but I did work at the New York City Department of Environmental Protection, and I was a junior engineer for the wastewater treatment plants in New York City. I got to visit 13 different water treatment plants all over New York. My favorite one was at the north of Manhattan, because that one was like under a park, and that was super cool to see where everything went. And up above the park, it was really clean. We even had first Lego League tournaments over there, so it was actually the first time I got to see first Lego League. And I really think the mission that we ended up making, I hope you guys understood it, was there was that connection to that, to what you do at home happens out there somewhere else in the world. And it was great to create a mission that was long, even though it was complicated. And I hope it was fun for those who got to really get it working. But it was something that we learned about in creating missions so complex. And really, I hope we came out clean on the other end. And it's a great quote from one of my favorite movies. It was a lifelong dream to work on the Into Orbit challenge. One, to create a Lego space set, which is pretty awesome, and really make something that was part of where I am in my aerospace engineering days. We got to see some really cool stuff. I got to jump into the cockpit of the space shuttle trainer with Scott, and I thought that was a really amazing moment. That was the front of the actual space shuttle. We got to go near the pool of the buoyancy laboratory, where they have a real life-size scale of the space station. And I even got to go to the real place where they assemble the rockets, the vehicle assembly building in the Kennedy Space Center. So we got to see some really awesome stuff. and we took that directly into the models. And the whole thing at the Neutral Buoyancy Lab was to create a mission that actually had to simulate rescuing an astronaut, and that ended up being the Save Gerhard mission. So that really went from a real world problem to something you guys were solving, and I hope you guys got to see that was a real thing. That was something that the astronauts have to do and know how to do. And that's some really fun stories from design, and I got all sorts of cool ones from even Animal Allies, from seeing those real animals, and getting to see weird and cool buildings and city shapers. I'm a big traveler myself, so I really like to see how buildings are, and be part of it. And I even talked to the guys who designed architecture sets, which are super fun. But here we go towards the future. It's crazy out there. Shout out to all the people putting all of this together. What a great team with the Share and Learn community. And I'm so glad to be part of it. Let's go to the future. You kids are going to be our great future for being part of this and having the resilience to do everything online. And I really wish I got to see all of you guys play with the sets that we've built and the game that we made. And I'm super proud of City Shaper this year. And let's keep on playing. All right. Have a great day, guys.